Welcome to Baxter Yoga. I'm here in my home studio again today. Thanks for joining me. I want to remind you that you can find out all the links for my live streaming yoga classes on my website, which is on your screen right now. You can also find out about upcoming online workshops, intensives, and future travel yoga that will be coming up in 2021. So take a look at that stuff today. You can also find longer practices on the practice channel at the website Yoga U Online if you like to have on-demand access to yoga practices. So check that out as well. They have a really good deal for that. And today I'm excited to share with you a sequence which is done from all fours. It's an all fours hip sequence. And this is something I've taught in class over the years just as a way to kind of both mobilize and strengthen the muscles around the hip joint from the hands and knees position. And I rediscovered it again when I was looking for some practices for a student of mine who has a couple of stress fractures in the feet and can't do a lot of hip strengthening stuff standing up these days. So this provides a nice alternative for folks that might be a little limited in what they can do standing. So it has some connections to poses like cat-cow and hunting dog. I am going to ask you to kind of keep your torso and spine neutral so that it actually works as a little more of a strengthener there. And all you'll really need is something for padding for your knees. So grab a blanket or something along those lines and place that on your mat or your practice space. And then go ahead and come to tabletop position. And in tabletop position, the shoulders are over the wrists and the hips are over the knees. And then also make sure that instead of sagging or rounding the spine like we do in cat-cow, that your spine is relatively neutral. We're going to shift the weight a little bit onto the right knee. And we're going to float the left knee a little bit off the ground. And then we're going to pick a direction and start to circle that thigh bone, keeping the knee bent a few times in that first chosen direction. So I'm going to do about 6 times in this first direction, trying to keep my arms very steady and my spine very steady. And then I'm going to reverse directions and take it the other way. So I'm really working a lot of the deep muscles and even superficial muscles of the hip and gluteal area. So nice strengthener done in the hands and knees position, as well as working the upper body and the core. Now let's bring that knee down for a moment. A lot of weight into that left hand, some of you might notice. So we're going to come up for a second and just shake out the hands a little bit, give those hands a little release. And then we'll do the second side. So this right leg is going to be away from you a little bit, but you'll still get the sense of how this works. So come back into tabletop, bring the spine parallel with the floor, energize the arms, shift the weight a little bit onto that left knee so you can float the right knee a little bit off the ground. And then pick your starting direction. It doesn't even have to be the same starting direction you did on the first side. We're going to do about 6 rotations here. Just getting some nice action in that right hip. And then you'll pause after you think you've done 6 and reverse it. There could be a coordination with your breath, but you could also just let the breath be relaxed and circle about 6 times or so, and then bring the knee down. And once you're done, once again, come back, give the hands a little jazz hands or a little shakeout of some sort that feels good for you, and then let your body come down to a simple sitting position. So in your practice, obviously, you could integrate that into a bigger sequence when you might be transitioning from the ground to standing, or you may just find that you really like working that to kind of strengthen and mobilize the hip muscles from the hands and knees position. So have fun with that all fours hip practice today, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook and YouTube at Baxter Yoga. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.